Hare Krishna. I wanted to share a few thoughts on the subject of Guru Tattva, not least how universal the role of Guru is. As we know, the beauty and essence of our philosophy is that we are not the body. However, that poses a somewhat uncomfortable question, or even puts us in a somewhat incongruous position wherein some devotees occupying a particular type of body are currently restricted from serving as Guru. Lord Chaitanya famously said, Kiba Vipra Kibrinasi Sujakenanai Ye Krishna Tattvaveta Se Guru. And Srila Prabhupada, commenting on that verse, said, the qualification of Guru is that he must be fully cognizant of the science of Krishna. Then he or she can become Guru. Ye Krishna Tattvaveta Se Guru Ham. There are so many other quotes from Srila Prabhupada indicating the same. But for the sake of brevity, I will cite just two. The spirit soul is equal in either a man or a woman, one who is actually engaged in the service of Krishna. There is no such distinction as man or woman. Anyone acting for Krishna, he is a sannyasi or a sannyasini. Such an interesting choice of word from Srila Prabhupada, sannyasini. And then you'll have to become spiritual master. You all, my disciples, everyone should become spiritual master. I hope that all of you, men, women, boys, and girls, become spiritual master. What's interesting about that is that was Srila Prabhupada on his own Vyasa Puja day, giving a Vyasa Puja address. So it's on the day of glorifying the Guru, he chose to say that about all his disciples, man or woman, boys or girls, etc. So it's such a telling occasion for Srila Prabhupada to say that, as I say, on his own Vyasa Puja day. And it's for these reasons, among others, that the GBC first confirmed over 2 decades ago that there is no philosophical reason why Vaishnavis cannot serve as gurus, as Diksha gurus. Something, as I understand it, is universally accepted, which is wonderful. Of course, it's hardly surprising, given that there have always been Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus in our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, and something Srila Prabhupada referred to many, many times. Indeed, Srila Prabhupada nor any of our previous acharyas have ever spoken against either the principle or the practice of Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus. So yes, it's wonderful, simply wonderful, that everyone is in agreement with that philosophical statement. However, something we all suffer from in this world is fear, the fear of change. We could have a broader philosophical discussion on that particular point, but suffice to say that time certainly changes everything in this material world. And simultaneously, there is nothing in this world that can change the relentless march of time. So related to this is the presentation that if Srila Prabhupada did not introduce a Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus, then how can we? So aside from the fact that Srila Prabhupada's apparent appointment of gurus remains something that is viewed differently by just about anybody you ask, what we do know is the first devotees who assumed the role of guru were all white American men. So that has changed pretty significantly over the last decades, as have so many other aspects of ISKCON and ISKCON life. And while none of these many changes that have taken place over the last number of years means that we must introduce Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus, the simple truth is the argument that if Srila Prabhupada didn't do it, then we shouldn't, is very, very weak, to say the least. Also, if we were to strictly follow and adhere to that argument, then we would be injecting rigor mortis into the Hare Krishna movement. And ISKCON would, in effect, be frozen in time in 1977 forevermore. Now, the reference that is regularly presented as definitive, leading to us being told that there is no need for any further discussion on this topic, is the Suniti reference from the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 32. And I will quote, "Although Narada Muni was his Diksha Guru, Suniti, his mother, was the first who gave him instruction on how to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the duty of the Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process. According to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, and generally the Shiksha Guru later on becomes the Diksha Guru. Suniti, however, being a woman, and specifically his mother, could not become Dhruva Maharaj's Diksha Guru." End of reference. I think that statement is pretty clear and nobody disputes it. However, the really critical question is, was Srila Prabhupada simply relating the history and the reality of society some 2 million years ago? Or was he setting ISKCON policy forevermore? So, given all Srila Prabhupada's personal statements on this subject, and given he does not indicate one iota that the Suniti and Dhruva Maharaj historical reference should be ISKCON policy, it would be remiss of us in the extreme, in my humble opinion, to assume this purport is prescriptive as opposed to simply being descriptive, simply describing the history. Similarly, on the subject of independence, it is surely better that we take a balanced view rather than an extreme view from whatever side. And for sure, Srila Prabhupada seemed to take a balanced view, such as, and I quote, "No independence means they, women, are well protected. No independence does not mean that she has no independence. No independence to act. No, she has got, but under protection. Just like there are some nations that still now protectorate. America is protecting. America is a big nation and protecting another small nation. That does not mean they have no independence. They are also independent." So again, Prabhupada making the distinction between independence and protection. And also another interesting quote, "Some of our girls may be trained in colleges and take teacher exams." So again, Prabhupada emphasizing, that women don't necessarily have to stay home cooking and cleaning, etc. So yes, women should be protected, but whatever protection and whatever better protection can they have than having disciples to look after them. And in terms of the internal dramas in our beloved ISKCON, what fairer way to manage those dramas, again in a balanced way, than allowing each region of the world to decide on whether they want to introduce Vaishnava Diksha Gurus or not. And that is exactly what the GBC decided to do, to allow each region to decide whether they want to introduce Vaishnava Diksha Gurus. Unfortunately, something unexpected happened, and that was one region of the world insisted that ISKCON in its entirety must opt out of introducing Vaishnava Diksha Gurus. So now, rather than every region having the choice to decide themselves, one region is dictating to everyone else. I wonder how they might respond to Srila Prabhupada if he were here with us today and expressed to them what he expressed to devotees who were present when he wrote. And I will quote, "I want that all my spiritual sons and daughters will inherit this title of Bhaktivedanta. Those possessing the title of Bhaktivedanta will be allowed to initiate disciples. Maybe by 1977, all of my disciples will be allowed to initiate and increase the numbers of generations. That is my program. I know what I certainly know what I would not say to Srila Prabhupada. I would not say, no, Srila Prabhupada, you're wrong. Rather, I think I would say, Srila Prabhupada, please let me know what I can do to help make your wishes a reality. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna and all glories to Srila Prabhupada.